The following is a presentation of Muddy River Sports.
Welcome to another episode of Speak of the Devils, brought to you by the Range at KC. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Schuckman, hanging out in the Quincy High School locker room with Quincy High School football coach Rick Little. Thanks for doing this again.
Love it. I just enjoy talking. So it's fun. This doesn't even work.
Yeah, we consider and we've been doing pretty good of segmenting ourselves and cutting it off.
Yeah.
But I know we can sit here and talk a whole lot longer than we normally do.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So again, but a good week to talk about Blue Devil football. Coming off first victory of the season, go to Alton and win last week. Big for your guys confidence-wise, big for your staff confidence-wise, just to get that first one out of the way, isn't it?
It is, and we say it all the time, but winning heals all wounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's something that obviously we're used to winning, right? And that's a good thing. So we definitely like that. But after that first game, you have a bad taste in your mouth, and then every little thing gets under your skin, which it's maybe not a bad thing, but to get back on the winning side of things definitely felt better. And the guys, I think, even it wasn't like they doubted themselves, but it's like until you get that first one, you're always looking for that first one. So
how did your guys approach last week? Coming off the loss, getting ready for the Alton game, did they approach it the way you wanted to throughout practice?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that one thing that I know that they do is they respect every opponent. And I'm proud of that because as a coaching staff, we do, and so that's something that we certainly. You want it to spill out to them. And so, why I say that because, again, we're looking for our first win. And you look at Alton, they got beat to Belleville-Altoff. But, I mean, just even looking at the film, you're like, son of a gun, that running back's good. And son of a gun, that receiver's good. And son of a gun, that outside backer's good. And, and just down the line. And
we knew they were going to have athletes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and typically Alton always has some pretty good athletes.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, I think it was for us, kind of not knowing, right? We have a lot of new starters, and we haven't put a notch in the win column. And so, knowing that, and even talking to the coaches throughout the week, as we broke the film down, I think we talked about this last time, but we're just saying, hey, like these guys, NFL's concerned here, because there's some talent out there. And so I think that was something that to see our guys respond. I thought we just did a better job of executing. I thought we did a good job handling the pressure. But overall, I thought, a lot of guys grew up in that game, and you saw some good things.
Well, and I thought not as many mistakes as week one, and maybe not mistakes, maybe not be the right word, but they finished plays. They finished drives. They did a better job of finishing in every aspect this week.
For sure. And you say finishing, I say executing, right? Because it's the same thing, right? Because it was, plays that have to be made. And here's the thing too, and this is our offense, this is any offense, but you can only go to the well so many times, right? And so, once you've kind of thrown that smoke and mirrors out there, and then all of a sudden it's like, shoot, we didn't connect. Like we can't just go back to that play, and that play may not work the rest of the game. And so I thought early on we executed really well on the plays that we had to hit on. And I thought Hunter did a good job. I thought Noah Wells caught the ball well. Cole Burgess, and there were some other guys too that we ran the ball. The offensive line did a nice job up front, talking offense here. And then defensively, like guys, they did a really good job bottling up the running back. And the things that were concerning me, I was worried about the quarterback kind of getting loose. I thought the guys really did an outstanding job, just taking care of business.
I thought you guys ran the ball pretty efficiently especially when you needed to. When you needed to run the ball, the line got after it. Your running backs did a nice job. I thought collectively running the football was a pretty good effort.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's something that, especially at the end of the game, you want to close the game out. And that's something that they did a really nice job of, and to kind of put the exclamation point on it, just being tough, physical, and running the football. So all those things play well moving forward. I think that's the thing when you look at early in the season, you want to make sure that, like last year's team, when they could throw it, they could run it, but you want to make sure there's balance there because when you may not be on that night, and so you're going to need the other one. And I felt like, we kind of got it all done week two.
I know when I looked at your players of the week, the awards you guys give out each week, it was a lot of experienced guys got it last week because they stepped to the forefront. You had to have your leaders step up last week to get this train going in the right direction, didn't you?
For sure. And I think it's just about, like I said, guys that, I was going to pay our players, but in the professional ranks, the guys that are paid to make plays need to make plays, right? And so we don't do that. But But the guys that have earned the right to be in those positions need to make plays. And so I thought that was something that that they did a great job of. And like I said, you just want to see that continue because that's what they're out there to do. They're out there to execute.
And some of the guys who were kind of new to your system, I thought looked more comfortable. I thought Hunter Schuckman looked more comfortable at quarterback, played with a little more confidence than he did week one. I thought there were times week one maybe got away from him a little bit, but I thought he bounced back very well.
Yeah, no, and I like that about Hunter. I think when you watch him, like he doesn't get too high or too low.
Right.
I think that's and even this week, right? We got to keep things in perspective, right? We win the game, we feel good because we have a win and we're moving forward. But I think too, it's going to get tougher, right? It's going to get harder, and so we have to continue to execute. And so that's something that I feel really good about. But I thought he did a really nice job, and I thought the entire team played well.
One of the plays that stands out to me, obviously, is the 99-yard touchdown passing play.
Mm-hmm.
A record that cannot be broken.
Yeah.
It can be tied.
Yeah.
But it's a school record now that cannot be broken. But the moment it was the moment leading up to it, then the moment itself, all tied together of getting the stop and then turning around and scoring. Just that turn of momentum is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think before you talk about the touchdown, you got to talk about the stop.
Yes,
And you brought it up because wasn't happy with that whole drive. To be honest, we let up our special teams have been better, but we let up a long kickoff return. Mm-hmm. We had a penalty that then late hit out of bounds. Again, our guys just go and that's blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
Because there's times I get very frustrated with just that. You want to let up and you got to be smart, but our guys go, and so. I think sometimes when you're on the other end of the coaching, it's like, that's dirty football. It's like, oh my gosh, we do not teach or preach that.
No, without a doubt.
But if I'm got to pick one, I want to go. Like, we're going to go to the football. And so we had that, and then all of a sudden now they're down, they're inside the red zone, make a play, and now, first down, second down, third down on the 1 yard line, and looked like the quarterback might have got in. It looked like his feet got in with the ball hadn't crossed.
Right. Yeah.
And then, and made another adjustment. Todd's inside, you got Jackson, you got King, you got the guys, and I'm like, on that third down, knowing that they're going to run it again.
Oh, yeah.
And switch to put a bigger body, quarterback in there. I'm like, they ain't getting this. Like, there's no way. I think about it. If I had to move Todd and those guys, I'm like, I ain't getting it. So that was a great feeling to get the stop, right? So to get the stop, and then I got to give Coach Luton a ton of credit. This is like philosophically, we've always talked about this. You talk about air raid and kind of how what's the philosophy? Well, it's always about ground that you have to cover, right? Yeah. And so he's always said like, hey, this is the best time to throw verticals. It's kind of what you've been taught. And so a lot of people be like, "Are you what?" Like, and
a lot of people expect you to run the ball in that situation. Get yourself a little breathing room.
They do. But the philosophy is like, hey, they've got this whole field to cover now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the one thing you have to be really aware of is like a holding call, right? A holding call is going to result in a safety. But the nice thing about it, because I think sometimes people just read 99-yard touchdown pass, they think this ball's in the air for 85, 90 yards. But that's not what we even want, right? I thought Hunter did a good job getting back, getting his drop, and then just delivering the ball on time.
Right.
And, obviously streaking Cole. So the ball probably traveled 29 yards, but like the ability to then take it to the house, because there's the safety, there's one high safety, there's just a lot of things like why this will work. Yeah. And so obviously the execution was perfect, and that swing of momentum to me was really the game.
Huge.
And you got to keep playing.
Right.
But no, you went from being on the doorstep of scoring, tying the game, to now down 2 scores.
Yeah.
And so that I felt that really took the life out, and I thought our kids did well from that on.
And I thought your guys reacted well to it. Didn't get too high over it. Got excited about it, but didn't go, oh, we can do this every time, or well, now we got a 2-touchdown lead. They didn't put it on cruise control. No, they kept after it.
No, they didn't, and that was something that like I said, I'm really pleased with because that's the type. We talk it all the time. That's the type of team that we have, and we have to have, and that we guys. I mean, we have good football players. I really like them, but I think every team, and we got to overachieve, right? Yeah. I want everything and then some more, right? Yeah. And so if that's something that they continue to do, I think we'll be in a good position at the end of the year.
Well, it was a good week too. Obviously, you started Western Big Six conference play here in week 3. Mm-hmm. How about we take a break? We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about the Western Big Six. And then later on, we're going to bring up one of your old teams. Yeah. We talked about the Western Big Six banners hanging here in the locker room. The team we're going to talk about doesn't have one of those banners, but it made history.
Yeah. Well, I always like to talk history. I always like to talk little football. So bring it on.
Let's do it. This is Speak of the Devils, the QHS Football Coaches Show, brought to you by the Range of KC. We'll be right back.
It is fall, there's a chill in the air, there's also going to be footballs in the air here at the range. 29 TVs outside, 13 TVs inside, and we're going to have all of your NFL games. We're also going to have local games. So if you want to catch some high school or college games, you come here. Also, you asked for it, we brought it. Blue Moon is now on tap. And don't forget, you can always rent out our patio, private, just for you right here at the range.
Welcome back to Speak of the Devils, the QHS Football Coaches Show. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Schuckman, hanging out with Quincy High School football coach Rick Little. This week kicks off Western Big Six Conference play. You get it started at home against a team you haven't faced recently because Rock Island Alleman did not have varsity football. They've retooled their program. They're back to playing varsity football, and you get them out of the gate. Knowing all that, how do you prepare your guys this week?
Well, like every week, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a lap in the marathon, so it's really it's a mile in the marathon. It's just a mile, right? So you got to focus on that mile. Nothing else matters. Yesterday, tomorrow, nothing matters. It's just that mile that's in front of you. And so that's not just cliche. That's really how we approach it, And so
how you have to approach
it. Yeah, and I'm sure most teams do, but that's something we really focus on. Yep. The one thing that's cool about Alton, before we really get into it, I think this is cool for me. I'm a baseball stadium chaser guy.
Yeah.
And I love going to the stadium because I love live, because then next time I watch it on TV, everything around me now makes sense, right? So I can see that. Different than just seeing that TV view. What am I getting at, right?
Yeah.
Well, every team that we play, I don't know. I do try to soak it all in, but every time I get a feel, right? And it could be a good feel, it could be a bad feel, depending on the results.
Right.
With Allman, I'm really glad to see them back, and after this Friday, I'll root really hard for them because my experience with them has always been hard-nosed, hard-fought football games. The one thing, and I've said this a lot, I'm not I mean it. The coaches have been so good. The kids play with their butts off. They play with respect. They're usually going both ways. I mean, it's hard-nosed, old-school, blue-collar football. And so we haven't always won every one of those games, but every time I left, I felt like one, we got better, and two, it was just the way it's supposed to be played. It's that camaraderie or that etiquette that goes with, anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so that's always been a really cool thing. So it's that feel when we play them, I always feel that way. But as far as who they are, right? Who they are now. And I say that with the thought they'll get better. I mean, we all know what's going on, right? They're back to varsity football.
Yeah.
They're
going to have some growing pains because of that.
Right.
And that's understandable and expected. And I don't think they would tell you any different.
No, they're building a roster. They're doing all those things. They've gone through coaching changes, even last second ones, earlier in the last spring. But we know what's going on. Now we know and feel like, hey, we're the better football team. I'll just say, I feel like we are.
Okay.
We're the conference champs. We've won a whole bunch of conference games in a row.
Yep.
But we know we better bring it because that's the type of team that can bite you. And they're going to continue to get better throughout the season. So, excited to play them, excited to see them out here. And like I said, I'm glad they're back.
When you look at their history, I mean, a very deep, rich history of what they had playoff success. Mike Tracy, one of the best coaches in Western Big Six Conference history.
And become a really good friend of mine. I really enjoy
What a great guy.
Yes.
I agree with you 100% because obviously he went on and became AD and has done so much for football, for prep football, but so much for the Western Big Six as well. It's good to have Alleman in the league, ready to play. And I know some of the Alleman people are like, well, you wrote about the fact that they shouldn't, know. But when they were struggling, it didn't feel like it was a good fit. But if they're competitive and they're part of it, the history they bring to the Big Six is part of it.
And that part I love. Now I'm going to say a couple of things here, and I hope this doesn't rub people the wrong way. This is going to sound bad, but they shouldn't be, right? And I say that this is no disrespect,
right?
But I want them in because I want them to thrive. But their enrollment, the things they have to, so I'm glad they're here. But if I'm them, I'm like I want to be somewhere I can have some continuity. But all that being said, I'm glad they're back because of the history, right?
Yes.
I love the Big Six is one of the longest standing conferences, so I'm not trying to push them out at all.
No,
I think maybe when you wrote that column, that's kind of what I read. You know what I mean? But
those kids deserve every opportunity to succeed at a level where they are competitive. If they're in over their heads in the Big Six, it's not good for the other teams in the Big Six. It's not good for them.
Yeah.
And you want everybody to have a competitive balance. You want everybody to be competitive. You want the best for every one of these. Every student athlete in the Big Six is what we want to see. We want to see them succeed.
No doubt. But I'll say this too. So I'm just pulling this rope back and forth. I said that like, oh, they shouldn't be. I'm not. I don't mean like I don't want them.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
But I also say when they're in there, and when they were really getting after it, it was one of the best jobs in the state of Illinois. Because let me tell you why. They played in the Big Six. They would sometimes win the Big Six. Their regular season was a gauntlet, and then they go to the 4A playoffs, and they're like this is that was easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
right.
and I always felt like, man, that's a good gig, because if you can survive, you now are entering the postseason. And they did it for years.
Yeah.
You know, and I can think of when they lost to Rochester in the state championship game, and like, that's a good football team. There was times we played them, I think, and oh gosh, the year's gonna escape me, but I knew I was like, they're going to the state championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
I think Mike Tracy's son was on the team. You know what I mean?
He was a good football player.
Yes, and I'm like, this is a state championship, because they're gonna go in Class 4A, and they're anyway. So I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they're here, and I after they play us, I want them to kick butt and take names. But while they're here, I want to kick their butt and take their names. So no, it's really cool. It's cool that they're back, and I root for them. But certainly, we want to take.
You're not gonna root for them this week, though.
No, but I'll tell you, but because of that, again, not to just continue to pour it on, but they've even when man, this is a great competitive contest, because they weren't ever kids where I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to wring that kid's neck.
Yeah.
They were kids like, man, tip of the hat, like you're busting your butt, playing both ways, doing a great thing.
But how many times after a Big Six game have you and I talked about those kind of things? Like, you tip your hat to the team you just played, because you know those kids gave great effort. You know those kids, those coaches gave you a battle, whether you won or lost.
Yeah.
You know, you tip your hat to them, because I think the camaraderie of the Big Six. You went to the Big Six banquet. You went to the View from the West preview show, where there were other Big Six coaches involved and all that. The camaraderie, the respect is there across the board.
For sure, and I mentioned that, like, and every time I speak in front of them, that number one, I'm grateful that we're in the Big Six.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking years ago, you know how I respect history.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure it was like there's maybe some backdoor conversations about like, why is Quincy still hanging around? We have to drive there.
Oh, you know it's come up.
Yeah, and so I always thank him every year for like thank you for allowing us to be a part of this, because it's a great conference. It's a great league. It's got great history, and so you got to be inconvenienced once every other year. And I kind of told him that, but no, I really appreciate just being in it, and obviously they've been a great team in it.
Yeah. When you think about the Western Big Six as a whole this year, what stands out to you about these teams?
Well, I think there's a lot of unknown, right? I mean, I think this is something like, and I don't know how many people from the Big Six watch this, but I hope they all tune in.
Exactly.
You know,
that's right.
every week. But the one thing that I get it. Like it's okay. I like to have a chip on my shoulder. I like to have things that But we've won a lot of conference games in a row, and we've won 2 straight Western Big Six conference championships, and it's like, until we get knocked off, we're still the champ. And I say that, I kind of whisper that, right? Because I don't want to wake them up. I want them to think that we're over here just, licking our wounds. But, we got guys that understand that, obviously respect every opponent, and know that everybody's going to be coming for us. But we just want to kind of tiptoe in and out, rob your house and leave. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
But with that said,
not really rob.
I know, but it's going to be difficult to rob some of these houses.
No doubt.
Because there's some good teams in the Big Six, and we've already seen that through weeks 1 and 2, where if you don't prepare hard each week, if you don't take care of that mile, you're in for a dogfight on Friday night. Probably even if you take care of that mile, but if you don't take care of that mile, you might be on the opposite end of that dogfight.
No question, and I hope I don't reek of overconfidence. Like, that's not it at all.
No.
That's not it at all. I mean, it definitely is one of those things that I understand and know that, hey, like, everyone looks at who left the room, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get it. I mean, they've been waiting for that. And so, but I love the opportunity for our guys. And so, but yeah, you're right. The Molines, they're gonna be really good. East Moline, they're coming. And they got a lot.
Welch doing a great job at that UT program.
Doing a great job, and I spoke at the Big Six banquet. He reminds me of Rocky Balboa, because he's a guy that just keeps getting knocked down, takes his shots, but then he keeps standing. He keeps standing.
Right.
He's building, and so that they're coming. Sterling's always good. Geneseo. I mean, I'm not gonna leave people out, but whatever.
But you're right, across the board.
Across the board, it's a good league.
And it's a fun league. I enjoy football Friday nights in the Big Six. just like I enjoy basketball Friday nights in the Big Six. I think anytime you get two Big Six schools together, and you can talk about which schools have the best rivalry and all that, I think they're all kind of rivals. Some years, you may look at Rocky as your big rival. Some years it might be Moline. This year it might be Moline as the big game on the schedule. But there's rivalries with everybody.
No question. And rivalries are funny though, right?
Yeah.
Because, and this is no disrespect to anybody either, but when I first came in, it was like, oh, who's the rival? Well, it's Rocky. You know, I'm like, okay, let's get it. You know, let's go after it. It's not a rivalry unless you beat them, right? And so I'm like, I don't.
And at that point in time,
we hadn't beat them.
It's
been a long, long time.
Yes.
And so that's the thing that like I like about kind of our position and the respect that I have for everybody in the league is that we have beat you, right? And so now they're coming for us, and now it is a rivalry. You know, I thought Moline was outstanding last year. We were fortunate to beat them twice. You know, and that's a good football team. And
they're not going to forget that.
No, and I hope. I mean, respectfully, I hope they don't. Right?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I want them to remember, but I mean, certainly I don't want any bulletin board material. But I mean, they're going to get your best effort. We already know.
Yeah.
You know, so we already know that, and so it's and Coach Morrissey, we have a really good relationship as well. So that's what's really cool. Is like, I mean, I feel like with every Big Six coach, I mean, it's nothing but respect. And on Friday night, you want to kill each other, but you know, after that, it's tip of the hat, and you want to see them do well.
And especially when you get to the postseason, you're rooting for every Big Six team, unless you play them like last year. But if it's if Rock Island's in 5A or Sterling's in 4A or whoever's in the playoffs, whatever level it's at, you're rooting for the Big Six schools to do well.
No doubt. I mean, it's like college football, right? You know, in the bowl games, you root for your conference. You want them to win those games. You want them to represent. And so that's the thing that makes me proud is that last 2 years we've made it to the quarterfinals, and we want to continue to push past that. But I'm proud of that because it's not easy. It's not easy to get to that third round. And so hopefully everyone is rooting for us as well. But I know we'll be pulling for them if they're in there.
You know how hard it is to win in the playoffs because it took a while.
Yeah, no doubt. And like we talk to the guys a lot, like it's really about paying it forward, right? You can help yourself out. I mean, we know the formula. If you win more games, the seeding's going to be in your favor. If you don't, it's an uphill battle. But it did take a while, and we were able to break through, and that's something that I really thought was a turning point.
Well, the team that broke through, it took almost 40 years of the IHSA playoffs. Started in 1974. It took until 2013 to win a playoff game here at Quincy High School. Won several since. But that was the team that broke through. And I think we should talk about them when we come back.
I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. We will talk about that 2013 team that won a playoff game, the first in school history, when we come back. This is Speak of the Devils, the QHS Football Coaches Show, brought to you by the Range of KC. We'll be right back.
It is fall, there's a chill in the air, there's also going to be footballs in the air here at the range. 29 TVs outside, 13 TVs inside, and we're going to have all of your NFL games. We're also going to have local games, so if you want to catch some high school or college games, you come here. Also, you asked for it, we brought it. Blue Moon is now on tap. And don't forget, you can always rent out our patio, private, just for you right here at the range.
Welcome back to Speak of the Devils, the QHS Football Coaches Show. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Schuckman, hanging out with Quincy High School football coach Rick Little. We love history. We both, and a lot of times people, this is some behind the scenes stuff that you and I will share text messages, and we'll text back and forth about some of the history of the program. We've looked up some certain dates when the program started. 1895 is what we came up with. At least that's all I could ever find was where the first team was.
Well, you're usually right, Chuck.
I
so
try.
If you're not, then I'm going to write it down.
I try. By the way, nice lid. I like that. That's sharp. Yeah, you've had a different lid on every week. A Quincy High lid.
Expressions by Christine. She's the best.
Very nice. I like it. So very nice. But with that said, when we talk history, you can't forget about the contributions of the 2013 team. And I know we'll get some of those guys in the Quincy High School Hall of Fame in the years to come. We've been working on some of that, and I got to make sure those nominations are in this time around. But that 2013 team became the first team to win a playoff game in program history.
Yeah.
They changed what Quincy High football could be.
Yeah, and that team was so fun because when we thought we'd be good, we've been building. The 09 team, the 2010 team, really kind of got us going. And we're like, okay, we can. And the 11 team. I mean, they would. There were some good teams in there. But that 2013 season, there were some things that were significant. Like, okay, this it has a really neat feel to it. Number one, well, I don't know if I should have numbered these because I don't know if it's number one.
Yeah.
But we had some guys back.
Yes.
That had Malik Robbins was a 4-year starter for us.
Right.
And a kid that just would continue to got better and better and better, and was really a guy that, I love coaching all these guys, but man, he was fun to coach. Fun to coach because he loved the game. And then his Batman to his Robin was Jordan Osborne.
Yep.
And so Jordan continued to get better and better and better as well. From that team, people probably don't know this, but they lost a kid. They didn't lose. He moved in. He really wasn't ours. Great kid. He was a running back that went to Nebraska.
Yeah, he moved away.
Mikhail Wilbon.
Yep.
Yeah, and so when we had them as all freshmen, we started a playoff game with 2 freshman running backs back in their freshman year.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway, Mikhail did a great job, went to Nebraska. But at the time it was kind of like, oh, boo-hoo, woe is me. But then we got to transfer in again, completely like just pops up, right?
Right.
And Malik Bondon.
Yep.
And Malik Bondon was a linebacker. If you could build one, that's the perfect linebacker. Right?
He was a thumper.
He was a thumper, right? He went to South Dakota State.
Yep.
And so, but we got him, like, oh, okay, wow, this is, man, all these stars are lining. You had Seth Holschlag, who was a junior, really good football player.
Another thumper at linebacker.
So this thing started just to be like, okay, it's coming together within the offensive line, like the Quentin Lefevers, Cooper Bowles on the defensive side. There was some really good football players in there where you're like, man, we're putting this together. George Kakar was a junior quarterback.
And a very steady,
yes,
knew how to manage the game.
Great leader.
Yes.
Great leader. And so, and good football player. But anyway, so that team, it's starting to kind of come together. And Matt Bilgre's on defense. Steven Sharp, River Bew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was another great linebacker that we
doubt.
had. So when you sit there and like, wow, these are some good football players, right? So, I'm not going to mention them all, but I could.
I know. But, as we were preparing for this, I was looking down the roster, and it was like, oh, yeah. He contributed. He played well.
Yes.
And, it was fun to go back through the names.
Yes, very much so. But that team was, along the way, we finished 7-2. So that Rock Island Almond team that we talked about, they knocked us off in the regular season.
Yep.
And we were kind of, finding our way. And then, Rock Island also knocked us off.
Yep.
And it was a really last second. I remember we were down on the goal line and could go either way, and it didn't go the way we wanted.
You're right.
But we had a chance to win. And so that team, it was funny because I think about this team, we lost the game this year. It's not the end of the world. The 16 team, they lost their opener,
yes.
right? So those losses, I know you hear it all the time, this is going to make you better. And a lot of times I'm like, phooey, we lost. you know what I mean? And nothing makes me better about losing, right?
Right.
But I will stand corrected because that team, in those 2 losses, we just kept fighting. It was always about, making our mark. Well, it was really, the team, I got to credit Jose Quintero, Randy Dickens on defense. Yeah. That team at the end of the year, we were playing some ridiculous football, right? So I think of a Pure Richwoods team that came in.
Yeah.
That's a great program. Yeah. And I'm not even bragging here. I'm just saying, it was 42-0 at halftime. And this is a playoff team.
I know.
It was when I say this respectfully, it was a beatdown.
Well, and for those of us who had grown up around this program, been around this program for a long time, to see that happen was like, Quincy High School just beat down Peoria Richwoods? Wait a minute.
Well, and this was halftime, right?
Yeah.
Because even Coach Wimel, who played at Notre Dame, coached at Notre Dame, they played them a lot. And he's that's a good, it wasn't like they were down, it was a good football team.
It was a good football team.
And he's like, I can't believe what's going on, right? And just a team that was, just played, really good football. We beat, lots of good teams along the way, but it was that moment where I'm like, and it was at the end of the year where we just kept getting better and better and better and better. And I mentioned Jose and Randy because we were scoring points, right? Yep. But they were not letting anybody score, right? Yeah. And so it was like, wow, this is really something. And we the fun thing about those teams, like when we would practice, and this was like back in the old Wing T days, but it was almost like they would just go at it. And literally on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, it was like we were having full-fledged games like in team because both teams could get after it.
Yeah.
And so like this is like, I'm not sure this
Did you ever have to tell them to back off a little bit?
Yes, we would, we would try to blow quicker whistles and stuff. It's not like we loved it, but they just kept on, they would practice like that, and they just, you could just see the thing going in that direction. Yeah. So it was like, I'm like whispering it, like like tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But as that you could see that team continue to get better and better and better. It was just remarkable to see. And so the beauty was, playoff pairing show comes around, and we
remember that one too.
So you don't know who you're gonna play, right? You don't
Yeah.
know. There's all sorts of possibilities when they called Rock Island's name.
Yeah.
And we have tons of respect for Rock Island, but they beat us. And I remember talking to their coach. He called me. He's like, "Man, I hate this match. This is ridiculous. Don't you think this is ridiculous?" I'm like, "No, coach, I don't." You know what I mean? I don't because I knew we were in a really good place. To avenge that loss.
Yep.
But we were playing great.
And it wasn't like you had gotten blown out by Rock Island. That one came down to the wire.
And like I said, our guys were just ascending, and they were playing so well, and it was so much confidence. And that team, like I said, just Wes Creasy. I'm thinking of so many guys on that team that got after it, and these names keep on popping up in my head because they played great football. And so, so that game, right? Another history lesson, things people don't know about that game. Maybe you remember. I got to mention this guy too, Bryce Umazee. Junior wingback.
Yep.
Right. So Bryce was also our kicker.
Yes.
And
a good kicker.
A good kicker. And let me tell you, so I love Connor Kelly. I love all the kickers that have come before or after.
And you've
Bryce.
had some good ones.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yes.
Right? I always give credit to Jim Wassman because he taught PE at Berry Ann.
Yeah.
And they played the heck out of kickball. And so I would tell him, "Hey, Jim, you get all this credit because these guys are coming up through the system and they can flat out kick this ball." So he always laughs about that. But he's like, it's all me, coach. All that kickball. But anyway, going back to that game, I love the kickers that can flat out kick it.
Yeah.
But I love me a kicker that plays offense, defense,
Oh.
right? Because when they go to line for that kick, they're already sweating, right?
Yeah.
They've already got a lather going.
And they're going to run down and hit somebody if they need to.
No doubt. So this game, right? So we get off to a great start. Our guys are playing, doing great things, and we're scoring touchdowns. I remember Malik had a good game. I remember Osborne looked like Eric Dickerson that game. I mean, he is running long strides, doing great things. But we got a nice lead, 16 points or so. But then we get to the red zone, and we weren't punching it in. Well, here comes Bryce, kicks it through. So we set a playoff record, a 6A playoff record for field goals in that game. And that's something that you probably don't know.
I did not realize that. Wow.
So go to ihsa.org, click records, you'll see his name on there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he had like 5 field goals in this game. So it was a great feeling. It was a horrible feeling not scoring, but it's playoff football.
But you came away with points every time.
It's playoff football. So it's like as mad as we were, or frustrated as we were that we weren't scoring touchdowns, like there's 3, there's 23, there's 26, there's 29, there's 32, right? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, and Hayes in the barn, right?
Yeah.
So it was a great. And we ended up winning 40-20. They got some late scores. tip of the hat to those guys. But that win was huge, right? Because it just when we avenged the loss, we had proven that we've gotten better, but we've made history, right?
First team to ever win a playoff game in Quincy High School history.
Yes. Well, then let me tell you about the next round, right? So we played Providence Catholic, right?
Right,
so,
right here at Flynn Stadium.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you this, and people are going to think I'm nuts. If there's a way to lose a playoff football game to like a football royalty, it was the best way ever to lose a game, right? And you're like, what are you talking about, right?
I think I know where you're going.
So we in that game, and they had dudes, right? Guys that played in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, fellas, we know who
they had a wide receiver already committed to Notre Dame at that point in time.
Yes.
They had dudes.
They had dudes. And not just a couple. like layers of them. Like offense, defense, special teams, like their own units. Their own buses. Shoot, they brought 2 or 3 buses to the game.
They did.
But what was really cool for me, and I don't know how long this show is supposed to be, but
we can go on and on.
So I remember it was kind of like, and I'm not to be super corny, but it was kind of like that We Are Marshall moment. I'd never had a home playoff football game here. It might have been the first one ever. Maybe not. Okay, as you think here. They went to East St. Louis in 86. No, Granite. Granite City.
Granite, yeah. So it was, So
I think it was the first home playoff
because
football
they went to East St. Louis in 03. They went to East St. Louis.
I just stopped shut.
In 74.
How about that?
So
it
was. I had to think for a minute.
So the first playoff game. So I'm like, accidentally, I don't do this normally. I'm going out to the concourse. I got to walk up the stairs, go to the concourse, and I look out, and there's a line of people, like literally to Main Street, trying to get in the game.
Yep.
And you think back to that movie when I don't know why he's getting out of bed and walking to the stadium with the fans, but like this all the people that were there, and so
great movie by the way.
Great movie. Great movie. But get to the game. So they kick off to us. First down. I don't know. We might have gained 1. Second down. We run I remember the 28 sweep and 47 sweep. I'm sorry, 47 sweep. And Bryce Umazig takes it to the house from 80.
Yeah.
And the place erupted.
Oh my!
Right, erupted. Right,
beyond loud.
Right. So like, not only we're on the board.
Yeah.
Like we're on the board. Like the Russian's been cut. Rocky IV. You know what I mean. And it's like, okay, now let's go. Let's chop them down. Yeah. So we kick off. They're kind of getting cued a little bit. They fumble like on the 13-yard line.
And you recover.
5 plays later, we score. We are now 14 nothing.
It's 14-0.
And after that, we can fast forward this a little bit. But they kind of figured out put us on roller skates. But our guys fought the entire game.
Yeah.
Came back even at the end. And again, not that you want.
But you showed that Quincy High football was here. And it wasn't just, hey, we won a first-round playoff game.
Right.
We took on one of the big dogs out of the Chicago Catholic League, a team that was expected to potentially win a state title that year.
Yeah.
And you said, okay, we're going to throw punches at you.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I always tell people that, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, for the first 12 minutes, it was pure exhilaration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fans got their money's worth, right? And that wasn't, we wanted to win the game, right?
Yeah, right.
But man,
because there were people going, Quincy High's up 14-0.
Right.
Wait a minute, that's got to be wrong.
Blink, in a blink. So it was,
and that was before social media had really taken off.
Yes.
So it was like getting phone calls. Hey, is this true? I've listened on the radio. Is this true? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it was really something. And that team, like I said, I mean, even to this day, I still talk to some of those guys, and it's like, I remember when you see them, it's like great memories. And it's, again, those teams, I mean, unfortunately, we weren't able to hang a conference banner, but you think about what they were able to accomplish and, all the things that they were able to do for us. Man, what a team.
Well, but if you go out, if you come to the game on Friday night and you look across Flynn Stadium, you have the blue windscreens up around the fencing. You also have the new banners up there with the Big Six titles and the playoff teams. And that's a playoff team that's on. They've earned their spot in Quincy High School history.
No, and like I said, I think about turning points in a program, and I think of the 13 team. And I think of all the teams. I mean, the 09 team, the 2010 team that got us there, but the 13 team that won it, and then the 16 team the 14 team ended up winning the conference.
Correct.
But our record wasn't where we wanted it to be. It just happened we beat the right opponents. And a good team to boot. But man, what a just a great group of guys. But when you look at, like I said, 13 and 16, and obviously the last couple of years, man, it's really cool to see what these kids have done for our program and the mark they leave.
I don't know if it's a sign that we're history nerds or that we're getting old.
I would say yes to both.
I would
say yes to both.
But we've seen a lot of football here at this facility and just in general. And it's cool to go back and relive some of those. Again, like I said, just going down the roster was fun for me. Because it brought back those memories. And then it brought back memories of talking to Malik Robbins when he was playing at Truman and those kind of things. And it's just...
Jeremy played at McKendree.
Yes, Jordan did.
I coached Jeremy way back when too. No, it's just... so cool, and like I said, just something that makes me extremely proud. And I think, just the impact, right? The impact they've had on us.
Yes.
But you'd like to think along the way that we not just the staff, the program. The program, is doing great things for these kids too, and that makes me super proud.
Well, I think this team, obviously taking on Rock Island Element on Friday night, but this team has a chance to make its own history, and that's what it's about. Yes, that 2013 made school history. But each team that has come after it has had an opportunity to make its own history, and we've seen that. This team has its own opportunity to do something special.
Yeah, well, this team's really cool, the current one, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, because like I tell them all the time, I don't want to rub this in your face, fellas, but we lost 96% of our offense last year, right? Yeah. And so, everyone that thinks they know, is kind of writing you off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, if you don't come in here every day with a huge chip on your shoulder, and again, we have tons of support. But that stuff motivates the heck out of me. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like, wait a minute. This isn't just this wasn't a one class thing or two class thing. This has been for a long time, and these guys are out to prove that, hey, we want to make our mark, and they keep playing like they did on Friday. I think they will.
I look forward to seeing it happen.
I'm looking forward to it week by week, mile by mile.
Yep.
Let's continue to get better.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Want to do this again next week?
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
We got to come up with something. I don't know which team we're going to talk about or which group of teams.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the heck out of that.
Well, the funny thing too is, some people might tune in one week. We're not talking about anything but nonsense because we don't. This isn't like scripted or prepared or anything.
No.
It's just off the cuff, which I think I sometimes enjoy more.
Same here.
Really enjoy it.
Well, good luck this week.
Thanks,
and we'll have complete coverage at MuddyRiverSports.com for your game against Alton.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. For Rick Little, I'm Matt Schuckman. This has been another episode of Speak of the Devils, the Quincy High School Football Coaches Show, brought to you by the Range of KC.
Muddy River Sports. Our home, our sports.